Welcome to Brave Healer Productions. It's time to experience what's possible. So, what if there's something you haven't learned yet that could change everything? Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions Publishing, where we are helping the world experience what's possible. And here today to help me with that mission are a couple of the amazing authors of one of our newest books. This one is called Joy Unleashed, The Ultimate Guide to Living Your Best Life. So I'm going to introduce Jenny and Jean to you in just a minute, but a huge shout out goes out to our lead author, Shari Alyse. Shari, you had such a big vision and mission for this joy book, and you've had that big vision about joy for a while. And I'm just so grateful and honored to be guiding this project with you and this stellar group of experts that you brought around you to talk about this juicy topic. Oh my gosh, these interviews have been so fun and amazing, and I'm learning something every time I hear from all of you. So I have some pretty cool people in my Zoom room. Jean Voice Dart is an expressive arts psychotherapist who helps others feel, reveal, and heal through the creative, expressive, and performing arts. Jenny Tasker is here. She's a mental health and well-being advocate who shares tips, tools, and inspiration to help you live the best life possible. So, Jean, I'm going to start the party with you today. Tell us a little bit of the why behind the chapter that you wrote.
Well, the why is I think that pain gets a bad rap. And so this is about discovering joy through pain. The brain doesn't really differ between all kinds of pain, all kinds of discomfort when we're having problems, whether it's emotional, mental, physical, whatever it is. Boom, something happens and we feel pain, those kinds of different pains. And so this is about the joy portal and accessing it and embracing pain and walking through it together.
Oh, this is such a juicy topic to start off with today. And I know that a lot of people will kind of want to ask you, well, what about the bad pain, Jean? Like, how am I going to embrace that when I'm in the middle of that suffering? Like, I know you have some steps and some ways of going at this. What would be like little step number one?
Yeah, well, first is just being open to that idea that you can have chronic pain and chronic joy at the same time. Probably the first step. Yeah, and then just get all the feels and feel it and ask questions. What is this discomfort or pain trying to tell me right now? I'm going to listen. Yeah, I'm going to listen to that and just honor that and embrace it and say, thank you, pain. Thank you. I know you're trying to help me. You're trying to love me. You're here for me. So I think those are the primary steps if you're ready. And, there's just much more to it. You can go deeper and just transform your life. Yeah.
Is there a place and a time where you decide, I got to get some help with that though? And I mean, I know part of the answer is here, like we need to reach out when we get to a point, but they're right. And I don't know what I want to say about that, except for when you're in on this journey and in the middle of it, sometimes we maybe are pushing it so far when we really, there needs to be a reach out, or we try to cover it up so fast we don't even give it a chance. So tell us, what do you want us to know about that?
Yeah, thank you so much for mentioning that, Laura. And actually, I'm very much involved with suicide platforms, suicide awareness, and um, with me, suicidal ideation accompanies my pain every day, every hour. It was just like an undertone, undercurrent there, because when you're in so much pain, you're getting the body is triggering the message. I want to cut my head off. It's hurting so bad. If I'm not going to go in the other room, cut my head off. But yeah, you have these thoughts, and so certainly there's these awareness of when it's gone too far, and we do need help. We do need a professional or someone who's very much has walked that walk and can walk with us. And we need to be able to, as they say, pick up that 300-pound phone and ask for help. Sometimes it's hard to even ask when we're overwhelmed, or the other things come in, shame and guilt, and I should be able to handle this. Well, there's no should be able to handle stuff. And I'm sure Jennifer can talk about that as well. There's no should have, would have, could have. It's where are you right now? And so that's why I help people, really feel, just take some time to feel and reveal what's going on before we can move forward into that healing process. I hope I answered your question. It's also not about pushing things under the rug and putting that smile on and, oh, I love my pain. No, it's not like that. It's absolutely feeling it and just just being overwhelmed by the grief, the pain, the shame, whatever it is, and feeling it, and then just looking deeper. What's that all about? What is that? And then you get some pictures, get some memories. You understand, oh, that's that. What can I do? Yeah.
Thank you, Jean. Thank you for opening up a discussion that's sometimes pretty difficult. Thanks for saying yes to this project too, and for putting your beautiful story and your tools into the book. We're gonna talk about the spark section in a couple of minutes, you guys. So stay tuned. Okay, Jenny, tell us a little bit of your why behind the chapter that you wrote.
Oh, um, I think because it's sort of a tough one. It's sort of that facing death moment for me that was really the game changer. I can really understand a lot of what Jean has been saying about pain and expectations, perhaps that we put on ourselves and how we should handle certain things, and letting go of that ego and just surrendering to that acceptance that maybe I won't make this through, and literally look around while it's happening and just take this moment in and learning what a privilege it is to feel even something that is so painful or scary. Um, and I just forever changed in that moment. And I never really had a opportunity to talk about it before. And when Shari, when Shari was talking about this book and had decided to do this, it was this opportunity that my heart just started yelling. And I knew that this was a moment to share just a glimpse inside what it's like to go through what I go through. And to be honest, I think I've always carried an embarrassment about talking about it, that somehow it makes me weaker. Um, and I was full of excuses of maybe, why I could or couldn't do things. And to be able to just say, well, guess what? This is my truth. This is who I am. And believe it or not, I'm actually really, really happy to be who I am, even with it all, and feel incredibly blessed and joyful. So it's like, I, I guess that's my why. I guess it's just, this is such an opportunity to share that, um, yeah, just.
So you said something that I think I've heard the first time today. This is one of my whys for collaborations like this, because I love to hear the different ways we express on a topic. And you said it, what a privilege to actually be able to feel something so scary or so painful. Like,
Yeah.
okay, that's like that's a pretty big perspective. That takes some, what would you say, practice, discipline? Tell me how you got to that point, because you don't just arrive at that kind of awareness.
No, and
Yeah.
just I have a history of not great health, and a lot of pain. I can understand a bit of what Jean goes through. My daughter has hypermobility. I have EDS. It's a comorbidity of my condition, and in fact, did try and take my life at one point. And so, to be that low and to understand maybe not what my purpose quite was then or why I was sticking around, but I started to learn that, wow, I know a lot of things. I've been through some things, and I've been through some things before that and before that, and all of us have these stories and these um, dark times that we think are going to take us out. And we think that, you know what, that's it, enough is enough. And then yet you make it through another one and yet another one. And when I had this experience of, I guess, near death, I just felt such a privilege to look back on that and go, wow, Jen, you have some wisdom here. Like, how did you not see that before? That going through some childhood abuse and being able to talk about it in a really healing, cathartic way, and to go through horrific pain and stage 4 endometriosis and end up with two beautiful children. Like, my head is like, goes back to this all in this glimpse that may have lasted 40 seconds, if that. But yet it gave me an opportunity to, these voices, what I was hearing and seeing and experiencing really makes me emotional. It really allowed me to go, wow, that really hurt. And that sucked. But I can talk about that in a real way. I can, and I've met so many different people that have had similar experiences, and to be able to have these conversations and help them move through something that may have been holding them back because they thought they couldn't get through or there wasn't another way. Um, and it's funny, people used to say, well, dark cloud follows you around, Jennifer, and things like, oh, if it's going to happen to you, it's going to happen to Jen, you know, if it's all going to happen. And I kind of look back and go, well, you know what? That's a privilege. How many
Mm.
people get to say that they've experienced all these things and so many joyful things? Like, in between everything, I was surrounded by an amazing family. I fight through my endometriosis to end up with two children. I have this near death experience only to land here through COVID and through it all with my adult children, my mom, my husband by my side to guide me through the harder times. And it's it's such a privilege. It really truly is.
Thank you for that. I have such big thanks to both of you, not just for being in the project, but for really taking on my challenge to put that vulnerable, amazing, real story in the book. And then y'all are stepping up in we call it the spark in this book. The spark section is a practical tool or practice or experience that you're giving the reader. And it makes this book such an incredible gift. You just did that so brilliantly. I want to share with everybody just a little sneak peek of our beautiful cover here for a second. Joy Unleashed. You can feel that little sunshine beaming at you, can't you? And thank you. Shout out to Dino Marino for the cover design on this book. I love to collaborate with amazing people to make these come to life. So, Jenny, I think I know the answer from both of you, but I want to hear the way that you do it. Can we find joy no matter what?
Oh, absolutely. In
Tell us
fact,
the why. Tell us the why of that. Like, not the why, but the how.
I think it's the way through those really, really hard times. It's I write a little bit about it, and I have my head in a bucket and giggling with my mom while I'm being sick. And it's just the way we roll. It's making fun and cracking jokes with the nurses when my mom had her heart attack in the hospital. It's just keeping that joy going and realizing that, well, this is happening. And there's really nothing we can do about it. I have zero control over what's going on right now except how I react. So I might as well try and laugh. The humor can be a little dark at times, but why not? Why not choose that, you know? And it really does. It helps you to get. It doesn't it doesn't fix it for you, as Jean said so eloquently. It doesn't sweep it under the rug. You still have to go through it. It's still happening, but it allows me sometimes to just shift out of my body for a minute and just flow through that with a little laughter rather than fighting against it with a force that tends to halt it for me. And we all tend to do that. We grinch down when we're in pain, but if you can just try and let it go and breathe through that. It's when they tell you you're having a child, it really does make a difference. It actually allows it to come to fruition. So it's yeah, that's my way through.
that. All right, Jean, your turn on this one. Can we find joy no matter what?
Yes. And I just, before I answer, I just am, I had no idea that we have the same diagnosis and that we're with this, Jenny. That's amazing. Yeah. And the things that Jenny and I've gone through, I've had attempted kidnapping, homelessness. I've had a sexual assault, plus my diagnoses of a doctor holding my hand saying, "You are going to die." That was 45 years ago. You need to face it. You know, you're everything's falling apart. But you can have these things, plus two family members ending their lives by suicide. You can have these things in your life, but there's this portal, there's this space that you can go to, which is joy, and I feel the same way as Jenny. All these things happen to me. People say, "Oh my gosh, what a mess your life is," but it's a privilege, it's an honor, and it taught me how to shift to joy. If I hadn't have had all those things, I don't think I would have found joy. And I can honestly say I experience joy every hour, every day, every minute of, okay, my body is not functioning. I have to go to this other place just to be able to lift up the fork right now, or to move, or to function. I have to find this place so that I can breathe and make my lungs work, so that I can manage. And I found it, and I know Jenny did too, and she does, and we do. And so that's a real honor that we have that. Yeah, it is possible. And just know that if you're out there right now and you're thinking, I don't know if I can find joy, my life is shambles. If you're thinking that, you can, and we're here to tell you that.
So I want to give you both a chance to talk a little bit more about the spark section in the book. And so thinking about kind of the golden nugget that you want to leave people with today, Jean, what's the most important thing you want us to know about? I'm taking this from their book titles, you guys, the joy portal, which I love. I love that part of your title, Jean. Tell us that thing you want us to know about that.
Well, as you said, Laura, my my primary vocation is working with the expressive arts, which really lends itself to release, expressing through the art. So in the Spark, I'm sharing some preparatory information of preparing yourself and then choosing your choice of expressing. After that, what you're going to be using, what tool you're going to be using. But the preparatory, I think, is really, really crucial and important. That opening that door, realizing that you can fearlessly face your pain, your trauma, and you can do that just by relaxing and opening to that and feeling that and knowing that you're safe. And then using any tool that you might have available, pen and paper, whatever. Close your eyes, express. Hang on to that pain. Don't let it go. Don't push it to the side. Don't sweep it under the rug. Hang on to it and just express. Don't try to draw a horse or try to do something specific. Yeah, just let it come out through movement, through sound, through whatever, through any of the expressive arts, through poetry, through writing words, which Laura, you know all about. But the point is that preparation, I think everybody can grab onto that. Fearlessly opening yourself to feel, and then holding on to the feeling, and then releasing it through expressive arts.
I love it, Jean. I can feel it. I have tried to draw a horse once upon a time. That was an interesting task. But oh my gosh, I remember looking through your beautiful list in that chapter, and it's like, yes, look at all these different ways that we can try, because sometimes one thing works and another doesn't, or one thing works, but then it doesn't work the next time. And you just, oh my gosh, you gave us the whole toolkit there.
Yeah, and it
Um,
could be something like gardening
mm,
or decorating a cake or
Mm.
anything expressive. The
yeah,
arts are everywhere. Putting on some clothing that makes you feel good. You know, the colors.
Love that.
Yeah.
yeah, beautiful, beautiful.
Mhm.
Okay. Jenny, I'm moving over to you. What's that one thing you want us to know about the art of shifting your perspective? I love that part
Um,
of your title, by the way.
oh, thank you. For me, it's a lifesaver. The way that my condition manifests itself, stress is a huge trigger. And it can come on very quickly. I can literally stop breathing, and the hives and anaphylaxis can come out very fast. And sometimes I have no idea what's triggered me. And it could be as simple as just, oh, a stressful moment or even a scare. So the shifting of perspective just allows me to sort of shift out of my body for a moment, sometimes only a moment, but hopefully a few more moments, so that I can just regain composure and try and tap into what's happening. Um, and I sort of talk about both. I sort of talk about that mind shift where sometimes it's just a distraction, um, maybe noticing the birds or nature, or whether it's noticing my body and how I'm feeling. If I can feel stress shuddering through me, that familiar vibration that your skin starts to tingle and you're like, oh God, I don't like how this feels. And oftentimes we fight against that and just try and slough it off or push it down. And for me, that would just build me up. My bucket would overflow and I just would be a mess. So it's so much safer for me to shift my thoughts out of my body and just allow myself to maybe compose my breath for a few minutes. And then as I'm going back into my body, it's tuning into what's going on. Whether sometimes I'm feeling something really exciting and it can send me into a flare because sometimes excitement is that's a whole emotion and I can get a little overwhelmed. And other times I am truly stressed out and or other times I'm in danger. So it's important for me to know what's going on. So I do both, like I say, the shift in the mindset a little bit, um, distraction, the view again, like or something along those lines. Um, and then really tapping into, okay, Jen, what's going on? What are you feeling? And are you in danger? And is there something that you need to do? And how do you feel about this? And I go through really quickly, like it was zips through my head so fast now because I consider it sort of my life-saving techniques. But I found that when I share it with my friends, they're like, huh, well, that's handy. You know, they're sitting in a meeting and their boss just irks them to the point where they're about ready to say something they probably shouldn't. And they're going, no, I'm just going to shift outside myself for a moment. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to just breathe that one through. Let that feeling rumble through your body. Maybe don't respond to every single vibration we feel, is very often it's not even ours. And then that way it just sort of gives that little bit of a collection of self again. And yeah, that's sort of the summation of what I hope people will walk away with is that they do have that control is there within them, even though it feels minute at times. It may only be your breath, but it's there. Grab onto it because and turn it up full blast.
Thank you, Jenny. Jenny and Jean, to both of you, thank you so much for what you do in the world and for being here today to share with everybody. Thank you for being a part of the book. You guys, this is actually so much more than a book. This is a generous community of badasses who will be there to answer a question or carry on the conversation, or maybe you need some support, right? So I have everyone hooked up with their links down below. Go explore what these gals are up to. It is amazing. And of course, we would love for you to go over to Amazon and grab your copy of Joy Unleashed today. I've got the link for that down below as well. Lastly, today, everyone, remember your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it is time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.
Bye bye.